It is Sunday, the 9th of February, and we've had another 6 inches of snow overnight, and we are now officially more snow here than we've had in the last 6 years, I think. And I'm running out of places to put it. I got it stacked everywhere out by the road. It's piled up higher than I can lift. And I mean, it's not that we didn't have space, it's just that we haven't had this amount of snow in years and just wasn't really mentally prepared for it. So I've got piles of things in the way where I was working until it started snowing. So that's kind of a pain. Oh, it's later this very snowy day and I'm fighting a head cold, so I'm really just not up for this. I had to bring a bale to the heifers, and I got stuck out here. The skid steer got sideways. I had to turn to deliver the bale there, and the snow turned to ice, and I spent about 20 minutes here just not getting anywhere, and then I remembered my trick. Hunk a chain behind the treads. That allowed me to get high enough into the snowbank there where the fresh snow allowed me to grab enough traction. Plenty of traction in the snow. It's just wherever the skid steer sits and spins, a little bit of logging chain behind the treads give me enough traction on the ice. It's really slippery out here now. I'm gonna have to watch it. Now that's bale that I've just given them is something I wouldn't have fed the cows. It's plenty ensiled. It's just got, it's one of the marsh bales, so it's a lot of dead matter in there. And there's quite a bit of good, in that bale there's actually a good amount of grass just mixed in. So I figure the heifers can sort through it and use it as bedding. There's not much tractor work here this time of year with this amount of snow. I mean, normally I'd be chipping in the forest or hauling up saw logs or something. It's just with the temperatures and the amount of snow and the every couple days snowstorms, just hasn't happened. And I feel bad about that because I love the tractor. And in fact, we're coming up on a 1-year anniversary of having this tractor here on the farm. And so I think I'll probably do a retrospective there and a review of the tractor, the TYM 1104. So yeah, this winter, the only thing I'm really using the tractor for is every couple days for 30 or 45 minutes moving bales around and feeding the cows. I did use it the one time to plow snow with, and that worked okay. But by and large, the skid steer actually works a little better. It's a little easier to maneuver. Hi, sweetie, come here. Hey, Siri, call Allison. Luna. Hey, the cows are out! Last night we had a scene of absolute carnage. The cows got out again, second time in as many weeks, and they were all over here. They ate a whole bag of the calf's grain, which I'm not happy about, because now I got nothing to feed them this morning. They went all the way out to the road, which is not good. I'll show you the tracks they left in the front field. Something spooked them. There were coyotes howling, there were dogs barking in the neighborhood, and then they came up the lane. They were out for an hour before we discovered them. No idea why we didn't hear them. They were right outside the house where we were eating supper. So we finished milking Lottie and chores and everything about 8:30 last night. I made us something to eat. 9:11, I think, is when I noticed the clock when we sat down to eat. And came out to do the last night check at 10. Check the boiler and the cows. And yeah, they were all up there in the dooryard, sniffing around the tractor. They'd been all the way down the lane and up to the road. Thank God we didn't lose any. So I will be making some modifications to the gate here. Obviously that temporary hotline is not cutting it. I'm out here sorting out another problem we've been having. This is probably the 10th bale where the twine has wrapped all the way through the bale. And I don't know, out of 190 bales, 10 isn't bad for a problem, but it goes all the way right to the core, and I don't understand. I thought initially it was on the unchopped bales only happening, but this is a chopped bale, and the problem is getting into the bale, and the cows have eaten down. I've cut quite a bit out of here already yesterday, and now I'm down here first thing this morning cutting more out. It is not practical. It goes right the way through multiple layers. In this case, it's both twine. Sometimes it's just one twine. Yeah, it's a mess. Yeah, so out front here, all these tracks are the cows. Down there, they went there, and then they went out. Thank God they didn't get out on the road. So I will be coming up with some way to make sure the cows don't get back up this far again. Maybe a double line or something until things can thaw and I can finally get the gate post in that needs to go down there. Then we're gonna have to wait and hope the cows don't get out any more times this winter. So this is new. I hadn't had this happen yet this winter, despite it being as cold as it's been. But at 6:30 or whenever I needed to use the tractor, I came out here to start it, I couldn't get it to turn over. It was -6 at the time, Fahrenheit, and it was probably got down below -10 last night, overnight. But sun was up, sun was shining. It would not crank over. It was just really, I cycled the glow plugs many times. That wasn't enough to get any kind of combustion going. Thankfully, no harm done. I have never had bad luck starting a tractor that cold. It might have just because it was set in here and the oil was just so thick. I was actually honestly worried that for whatever reason, I know I've had this tractor a year. We got it in the winter, as cold as it is now. I was worried that the coolant had frozen, but I hope that wasn't the case. Glad to get it running now. It's just about noon and the temperature's climbed to 32 degrees, which is good because I got to move bales around. The skid steer was also really hard to start, but it's a smaller motor, and it's got better glow plugs. I think I did get it to crank over relatively quickly, and so I'm just gonna let this thing warm up for as long as possible before I try and use it. I'm gonna have to get, I have in fact a magnetic heater for engine block heater, but I can't find it anywhere. I'm afraid it might have gotten sold, stuck on the other tractor and gone away, so I'm gonna have to get another one, because that certainly would have been the solution on a night that cold, would be to put an engine block heater on here. This tractor did not come with one. I don't know why they would sell a tractor in Maine without an engine block heater, but I might have to buy one for this specifically and get it installed, because I can't be not being able to use a tractor. Now, yeah, I mean, if I have a place to park it inside, both these machines, the skid steer was frozen solid. I'm pointing to it because it's right there. It was frozen solid this morning. The tracks wouldn't budge. I dumped about 30 gallons of hot water on it, on the tracks, the gears on the tracks to get them to run. That's not the correct name. Anyway, it took a while to get them freed up, and I still can't remove the forks off of it to put the snow bucket on because the mechanism's frozen. Must, on a day like today where the sun's shining, a little water dripped in somewhere and then refroze. Anyway, I'm gonna go get the cows fed. Behind me is the roofer's trailer. They were up here 8 o'clock this morning at 10 degrees, starting to strip the back roof so we can get the roof on. That's great. It is Thursday, the 13th of February, and it's been busy around here. Haven't had a lot of time to film. Past couple days, the roofers came and started putting on the new roof. They did the backside because they knew it was going to be easy in a time frame that they could deal with before the snow that we're getting today and over the weekend. Today, I actually was expecting more snow by now. I thought we'd have about 4 inches this morning. But it's going to warm up, so we're going to get rain by the end of tonight. So whatever snow falls is going to be turned into ice. So we got that coming down on us. And then Saturday into Sunday we got a big storm, and next Tuesday we got a big storm. So not a lot's been happening outside, just taking care of the calf and Lottie and milking and doing chores. Kind of same old, same old. I'm down here at the boiler this morning. Gotta check the cows next. This has been an unbelievably hard winter. And it isn't just due to the weather, I don't think. It's due to everything. And I don't know what to do about that. Yeah, I don't know what to do about that. I was so looking forward to getting a lot of work done this winter, and I haven't been able to touch any of it. It's either been too cold, bitterly cold and windy. You can't work in the forest in the wind. Not the winds we've had, not at the temperatures we've had. Limbs snap and fall, and it's just a dangerous proposition. And 90% of my work this winter was woods work. Thinning the forest, cutting firewood, clearing up some of the brush piles that I created while I was some of the brush piles created from before, and consolidating some of the brush piles, maybe burning some of them, and getting some seeding done, getting ready to do some seeding in the spring when it warms up. Now I've got to cram it all into late March and April, it looks like, because this snow isn't going to go anywhere anytime soon. And that just pushes me right up against, I needed that ground cleared now, because with with all the cows we have, I need to improve the forage and the forage quality down in the silvopasture areas, and to get some more silvopasture reclaimed so we can feed these cows this year. That is concerning me at this point. And the fact that business has been slow or dead or non-existent. And to put it bluntly, democracy is dying in front of our eyes. I don't know, whatever side of the fence you stand on that, it's going to play out how it's going to play out, but I don't think it's going to be good. We've been down this road before. But the world is telling us to wake up. Because what's happening here, what's happening now, ain't good. It isn't good by any stretch of the imagination. And it's definitely not good for farmers. And if it's not good for farmers, then it's not good for you who aren't farmers. Because, yeah, you can say import our food. It's a simple solution, right? Just get it from somewhere else. It'll be cheaper. That ain't the case. Because cheap food comes at a high cost. And it comes at the cost of our food security. And it's in the face of climate change, it's going to be a real issue, because there are years of drought, there is going to be years of wet, there is going to be disruption of crops. We need a united world to survive what's coming. And we need everybody who can produce food to produce food. Because if you're not diversified, if you don't have a range of options, then when the one thing you do and the one thing you rely upon, when they fail, you are SOL. And that is never a good place to be. And you know, we are small. I've been farming for 35 years, and this is the smallest farm I've ever had, by design. Trying to keep it manageable just for Allison and myself. Trying to keep it efficient and productive so that we are limiting the amount of impact and resources we need. But that means being efficient. It means having equipment that doesn't break down, so we're not wasting crop when we're having to harvest it. It means getting the most out of our yields. And at the moment, that is impossible, because if USDA grants cut and everything's stalled and the price of steel going up and implements are going to be exorbitant. I needed a new mower this year. I don't know what we're going to do. I managed to get a marsh bale out for the cows. It looks like it's pretty decent quality. Oh, damn it, I've got a piece of bale twine in it. Just a small one. Yeah, this bale is better quality than a couple that I've fed out. Seems to have a lot of decent grass in it, but also a lot of dead stuff, which is the problem with the marsh. I gotta try and cut it. Oh, gosh, I fell in a hole of snow there. Wow. That is deep right there. The problem with the marsh grass is I need to cut it earlier, and that's not always possible because of the wetness of the marsh. So if I can get it younger, it'll be less stemmy and it'll have better nutrition. Plus, the marsh is the worst field. So I think this year I was gonna try and plow it and disc it and reseed it. That might not be economically feasible given how things are going. So I think if I can get lime on it and fertilize it, at very least, it's rutted and it's messy and it's hard to travel. So maybe if I can run the disc over it, just level out some of the ruts. I don't think I can get any of the compaction out of it, but I gotta improve the quality of it because it amounted to roughly 1/5 of the amount of hay we produced comes out of the marsh, because it's a good piece of ground, good big open flat piece of ground. Have to improve the quality of the feed on it. So I used a skid steer to get 3 bales up, to put this one here and to move a small bale for the heifers. And I decided to use the skid steer because I wouldn't have to move the ring. I had to start and warm up the skid steer anyway to get that bale over to the heifers. So it was, I put the forks on it, so it's easy to pick up. It's fine to move bales that you're gonna feed out soon with the forks, because if it tears up the plastic, it's not gonna, in the cold weather, it's not gonna damage the quality of the feed by too much. It's gonna be really cold the next couple days. I did risk, as I come around here, I was worried of turning a track, and I did actually on the last time I stopped. The reason I didn't do any more, and I also knew that sure, go for one more bale, but I almost didn't get up out of here because the tracks had turned the frozen ground here and the manure into ice. So that wasn't fun. I am thinking I'm gonna spread some urea out here on the ground, because where the cows have urinated is solid ice, and that's why I'm not a fan of feeding the cows out in a hay ring on ground in the winter like that, just because wherever they are inevitably becomes ice. So we're getting about 1 foot of snow coming up today into tomorrow. It's supposed to snow all day tomorrow, and so I wanted to get ahead and get several bales. Put this spring fence back up. I wanted to get several bales out ahead so that if we do have a ton of snow, at least I'm not having to come down here and navigate this hillside. I can just come down the lane and tip the bales right into the ring feeder. It is starting to fill up with duff hay. I really need to put the grapple on the skid steer, move the ring and clear up that, and maybe use it as bedding in the barn, but that's a different issue because I have to put the grapple's blocked by all the roofing right now. So I got the grapple on, wait for a bale to empty, pick up the ring, scoop all of that hay and put it here, because the cows will have to be in the barn while I do that, and then I'll have to put a bale in the ring, feed the cows there. Once the cows are eating at the ring, I can snick the bedding past them up into the barn. This is more or less how I have to do it. To bed the barn anyway with chips is make sure they're eating at the ring. All right, fences up, fences up, fences up, gates up. Let's open up this. Oh, I'm gonna go actually get urea and some salt and spread it out here where it's so icy, because I don't like the chance that the cows could slip on the ice. It's not good. Not good even if one hoof slips. They pull muscles and start limping, and it's frozen ground. It's hard enough for them to walk on. Well, we got Nettle into the parlor and cleaning her up to get her milked, and we realized this, she or someone else stepped on her teat and it's cut through and is spilling milk out. Not at the end, but inside towards the top of the teeth. So that's a vet call. So Allison's on the phone to the vet. We'll see whether he can come out here and get her stitched up. That's last thing we need. Sunday, the whatever, February 15th, 17th, something like that. Just down here, we're getting a late start to milking. I just put the, oh dear, she has, Dulcie has a bad scratch. Just put the moo call on Dulcie. She's due the 24th or something like that, I think. I'll have to double check. So next week at some point, Libby as well, but I think that it looks like Dulcie is going to be due sooner. It's a vile day today. We've had snow and rain and ice and now snow again. And this is it's 9 o'clock in the morning, and this is supposed to last through tomorrow. We'll see what happens. I hope she doesn't calve anytime soon. The metronome tail. You might be able to hear the wind is howling. When it stops, it's actually not bad. It's about 18 degrees out and really quite pretty over the field. But we got the roofers up there braving the elements on a new roof. Down here working out firewood. They're putting new skylights in the roof of the house. They're just taking, we only have 2 of the 4 that we need because the other 2 are back ordered and weren't delivered this week because of the Monday holiday. So we're hoping they come tomorrow. The reason we didn't want to afford new skylights. These things were put in the 90s. The opening mechanisms were pretty shot, and so we didn't disagree, as painful as having to put 4 new skylights in the farm was. Well, that's going to drive me crazy. That skylight isn't parallel to the roof lines of the flat metal. I'd asked them to check that. Yeah, maybe it looks better a ways. No, not really. Not lined up.